Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode from Your Own Pathway. My name is Payevu here. And today's episode, I actually got inspired from a recent event that occurred while I was at the gym and I was in the bathroom. And so every time I am done working out, I like to wash my hands just because I feel like that's healthy with all the equipment that I've been touching. And so I am someone who just needs to wash their hands after going to the gym. And so after working out, I meant. And so I was in the bathroom and I was just washing my hands, and it was me and someone else. And somebody else was in the stall. Of course, this is a woman's bathroom. And so I went in and I started hearing that person in the bathroom. I don't know how old they were or how they looked like or anything. And I turned on the water and I was like washing my hands. And of course, the other person was, on the phone, and they were kind of loud. And so they were telling me, they weren't telling me, but they were on the phone and they were voicing their displeasure or complaint about about their love interests or the person that they were talking to. And this woman was saying, my life was perfect before I let him in my life. And now that he's in my life, he's caused me more stress. He's caused me more drama. He's done this and done that. And it kind of brought me back to being in my 20s. And for anybody who's ever gone clubbing in your 20s or even your 30s, but in my 20s, you know how at the end of the night, you go to the bathroom and you hear some young girl or some young woman talking about some boyfriend that made them cry or is doing this or doing that. And you're just like thinking, honey, like, what are you doing? You don't deserve this. You deserve better. Don't allow him to make you cry. You don't need to cry over someone who does not appreciate you. And so when I heard this in the bathroom, that kind of brought me back to be in my 20s, 20 years ago in the bathroom about someone complaining about someone, usually a guy who does not deserve the time. And people, this is for men, women, whoever out there. It is 2025 and we need to stop playing and accepting shenanigans. And this is what I thought about when I heard the woman in the bathroom. I was just thinking, if your life was that good before this person came in, why are you allowing this to continue to happen? So I want to say, and I always say this, like, part of your own pathway, part of forging your own path and owning it is taking accountability for your actions and having boundaries. And so today's episode, as you can see, it's called Stop Playing Shenanigans. It is 2025. We need to stop playing and accepting shenanigans. And so, how many of you, when you play shenanigans, of course, shenanigans is really fun. It's fun because you're like trying to guess everybody else's gestures and what word or what actions they're trying to do. That's fun when you play. But you know what? Shenanigans is not fun in real life because when you're playing shenanigans, the actual game, isn't it confusing? You're just like, "What is this person doing? What action? Okay, that's not what I have done. I would have done it this way or that way." But, and so it's fun when you actually play the game. You know what it's not fun? When you have to play it in real life. You're playing and accepting shenanigans in your life. It's so confusing. It's a game, and you're wondering what that other person's intentions are. You're guessing, and if you guess wrong, you have to keep guessing again. And it gets tiring, it gets frustrating, and then you become resentful and you're thinking, what is going on? Is it them or is it me? It's both of you. I'm going to put accountability out there and say playing and accepting shenanigans is both you and that other person, because this is not to blame, and yet you're allowing this to happen. And so this is why you should not play and accept shenanigans. And so let's get to it. So when you allow and when you play shenanigans, you're allowing disruptive, you're allowing um, disrespectful behavior, and you're allowing this to happen for you. You're playing the game. And this has a lot of confusion, causes a lot of stress, causes a lot of unnecessary negative feelings in your life when you play and you accept shenanigans. And so, what happens when you play and you accept shenanigans? Number one, you question your self respect. You question your self respect for yourself. And when you tolerate disrespect, it can lead to, your self-esteem, wondering, is this all I'm worth it? Am I not worth more? Do I not deserve more? You do. You do. When you stop accepting and playing shenanigans, you realize how much self-worth you have. And when you accept shenanigans, it sends a message to the other person or whoever that you are communicating with or whatever you're doing with. You're sending an unfortunate message to them and to yourself that you don't value yourself. And when you don't value yourself, people see that and they're going to take advantage of you. And whatever circumstance it is, that it could be money, it could be sex, it could be your kindness, it could be for your resources. And so when you accept and play shenanigans and you don't value yourself, unfortunately, people are going to see that and they will take advantage of you. And so you have to demand respect and you have to have your boundaries and you have to remember your self worth and say, you know what? I don't play that game. I don't play shenanigans unless we're actually playing shenanigans. And so, number one reason is your self respect. Do not play, do not play shenanigans because you have self respect. Okay? Moving on here. Moving on. Number two, what happens when you accept and you play shenanigans? It impacts your mental health. So, going back to the conversation that I heard in the bathroom, the lady in the bathroom was saying, my life was like good. My life was great. I was thriving, everything was going well for me. And then I met this person and I allowed this person back. I allowed this person in my life. And now my life is, negative and I'm stressed out. And, she was talking about all these things that was happening for her and to her because this person came into her life. And so, of course, it impacted her mental health. And when you accept and you play shenanigans, yeah, it's going to impact your mental health immensely. Again, when you play these games and you don't know what their intentions are, and you're guessing what their intentions and actions are, it's going to be very stressful. And with stress, it comes a lot of anxiety. It comes a lot of, sometimes you are dealing with depression, you have low mood, you're dealing with all of these negative emotions and feelings related to this person, to the situation, because you're playing and accepting shenanigans. And so when you don't have boundaries and when you don't realize your self worth, you're allowing that person and when you're accepting and playing shenanigans, you're not focusing on your mental health. And when your mental health goes down, other areas of your life are going to go down too. This could be, your sleep, your work, whatever it is that you're allowing this person to have control. And so playing shenanigans and accepting shenanigans really has an unfortunate impact on your mental health. The third thing that happens when you accept and play shenanigans is that you're basically encouraging unacceptable behavior from other people. And again, my intention to do these episodes, it's never to shame and to judge anybody. And again, forging your own path and owning it, it's really about taking accountability for your worth, for your actions, and using your free will. When you are playing and accepting shenanigans, you are encouraging other people or that person to you're encouraging that unacceptable behavior. You're basically saying, you know what? I accept this behavior even though I'm mad, I'm upset, I get frustrated, and I allow this to continue. Is by saying, you know what? I encourage it. I encourage this unacceptable behavior. And when you don't address the shenanigans and you continue to play and accept it, you are inadvertently reinforcing the bad behavior, which can continue to lead to the continuation. I can't say the word continuation here of escalating the bad behavior that the other person or that group or whoever it is demonstrating, and you're accepting it. And so, one of the things that you can do is to address the disrespectful behavior or the actions and say, you know what, this is unacceptable. I'm not going to accept this. I am not going to accept this. I'm not going to take it. And if you don't stop this, I will have my boundaries and I will say, you know what, I'm better than this. Remember, shenanigans is confusing. It can be breadcrumbing. And life is hard enough already, honey. You don't need to guess. You don't need to guess people's intentions. You shouldn't have to play games. Games is fun when you are playing with people who you enjoy with, but you shouldn't have to play games on your day-to-day life because life is stressful enough, life is exhausting enough. You don't need to play and accept games that causes you more stress, causes you more anxiety, and you don't need to accept bad behavior. So, stop accepting bad behavior. The fourth thing that happens when you play or you accept shenanigans is that you notice how when you accept things, you start getting resentful. And so when I heard that conversation with a woman in the bathroom, I definitely heard a lot of resentment. Like she was saying, I my life was perfect. My life was good. I had everything going for me. And then you, that person, came into my life and you caused me stress. You ruined my life. So a lot of negative emotions and behaviors. And of course, there was a lot of resentment behind the relationship. And so when you continue to play and accept shenanigans, resentment builds up. And this can lead to strained or broken relationships with the other person or whoever it is that is involved. And again, it always goes back. I always talk about this boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. You need to set clear boundaries with a person about the relationship. And if you want this person in your life and you feel like that person or whoever it is that you're dealing with deserves to be in your life, start fostering mutual respect and boundaries and understanding for one another. And if they don't respect that, it's time to let this person go. It's time to let that person go, and you deserve better. And you don't need that resentment in your life because I'm telling you, resentment is going to do you a lot of bad favors in your life, and it's going to cause you more stress, more anxiety, other things that you really don't need in your life right now. So that's the fourth thing. The last thing that playing shenanigans and accepting shenanigans does to you is burnout. I don't know about you, but again, it's 2025 and a lot of people are burned out. And the last thing you need, again, is burnout from playing and accepting shenanigans. Burnout comes from when you're constantly managing or enduring other people's inappropriate behavior without setting limits, again, without setting boundaries. And this can lead to emotional exhaustion and burnout. And again, when you establish your boundaries, this is a form of self-care that protects your energy, your well-being, and your brain cells. 2025 is all about your currency. Your currency, protecting your currency, which is your time, energy, and brain cells. And protecting your currency, not everybody deserves your currency, first of all. Not everybody deserves a currency. And if that person, whoever wants to play shenanigans, they don't deserve your currency. A reminder, your currency is expensive and not everybody can afford your currency. Again, that's your time, energy, and brain cells. So I just want to remind everybody, taking a stand against shenanigans involves setting clear boundaries. Again, I'm always going to talk about boundaries. I'm the boundary queen. For anybody who knows me, I talk about boundaries. And it's about setting your boundaries. It's about communicating your expectations, your standards, and being prepared to enforce consequences if those boundaries are violated. And if that person or that group or whoever it is wants to continue playing shenanigans and you're like, nope, I'm not. It's okay to let them go and say, you know what? You're not worth it. You're not worth it. Close that person out. Close it out. Okay. And so by not playing and accepting shenanigans, this is going to help you foster healthier relationships and have more respect, have standards, and again, protect your currency. And so, again, it is 2025. Stop playing and stop accepting shenanigans. Shenanigans should only be played on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday night, whatever, with family, friends, and people who you enjoy playing with. It should not be a game that you accept in your day to day life to cause you more stress, more anxiety, and guessing and breadcrumbing. So, that is all today. I hope you enjoy today's episode. This one was a little short, but I really wanted to talk about this because too many of us are willing to accept and play shenanigans when we know better, we know our self worth, and yet we don't think that we deserve it. If anybody who is still playing and accepting shenanigans watching this, I just want to remind you, honey, you don't have to. Let it go. Let it go because you deserve more. You should not have to guess anybody else's intentions. You should not have to play games because it is exhausting. And again, life is already hard enough. Choose your hard, and playing and accepting shenanigans should not be one of them. So, again, this is Paya from Your Own Pathway. I hope you all have a wonderful day, week, whenever you're watching this. And again, shenanigans should only be played if you're actually playing the game of shenanigans. So, take care, and I will see you all next time.